you. First question I'm going to ask is about Thailand-Finland relationship. Finland is European Union member states, but of course there is relationship between Thailand and Finland beyond just European Union and ASEAN.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, and it's a very good relationship and cooperation going on many different levels. And one of the key issues, I think, is the people-to-people cooperation. And as you may have seen as well, there are great number of Finnish tourists coming to Thailand every year, and there are Finns who live here, or some whole year through, but also some who come for the coldest winter months. In Finland, they come here to Thailand. But then on every level, on trade, on education, different things relating to our societies. So yes, we have absolutely very good and tight cooperation.
Talking about trade, when we talk about Finland, Thai people will think about vodka, sauna, and Nokia. But I believe there's a lot of things that we still miss.
I think they are absolutely yes. Well, everything relating to ICT and digitalization, we have a lot in Finland, and then our more traditional industries like paper industry and sort of the metal and huge equipments and shipbuilding. Those are sort of a traditional, really important industries. And perhaps one thing that you might see that when you go to many of the big the high rises here in Bangkok, you see often Kone lifts or Kone the staircases, and that's a Finnish company as well.
Wow.
They've been established here for a long time as well. And well, of course, design in many different forms, and I've been really glad to see when I came here to Thailand that I can see Finnish design, especially like Marimekko bags and the Moomin characters I see in the streets of Bangkok all the time.
A lot of people think Moomin is South Korean, but I know for a fact it's actually Finnish.
It is Finnish, absolutely. It's a wonderful author, Tove Jansson, who created the Moomin world in her times, and and there's a beautiful Moomin land in Finland as well. So another good reason to visit Finland.
Talk about tourism relationship between Thailand and Finland. Why do you think Finnish love Thailand? What part that actually attract Finnish?
I think it's very much, the beautiful climate and the nature, and the culture, and the food. So it's really a place for Finns to come and relax and enjoy enjoy long walks on the beach and swimming and the beautiful spas and of course the excellent food. But I think that I always then also encourage Finns to discover those parts of Thailand that are perhaps not that known yet to tourists. I love northern Thailand, and of course there are tourists there, but still I think that's there's potential for growth there. Wonderful places, absolutely.
You were talking about technology and innovation. One thing that most people don't talk about much when we talk about Finland is your innovation policy. You are a knowledge-intensive economy, and as I've learned that Finland's actually high technology and medium high technology based economy. Can you tell us about your innovation policy?
Absolutely, yes. And here, just to quickly go back a little bit in our history, and I think that it's very important what we have done during the past decades, not only the past years, but the past decades. There has been a very high emphasis on education, including education in technological, mathematics, science, technology areas, but also on research and innovation. So that's like a very deeply rooted in our society. And I think that when you think of why we think that strong, effective innovation policy is so needed, it has very much to do with the fast pace that the world is changing. So there is an absolute need for renewal all the time of the society and of the products that companies create, of the services that companies create. So there is really a strong emphasis on supporting reforms and renewals and transitions. And we actually have a good record. Many of the big Finnish companies have very good records in being able to adapt to the changes in the society. But research innovation and providing funding, either in forms of loan or other forms of funding to companies, I think that's a very important part of it. Because of course, innovation often it can be, you know, economically quite risky. So it's very important that the companies who have the knowledge and who have the willing to do that they do get support, because it can be the question of years, you know, to develop those products. And then it's important that they get also support for for the prototypes, you know, for creating that. And yes, we have two of our big agencies relevant in this field. One promoting Finnish trade abroad and the other one promoting Finnish innovation. They merged at the beginning of this year into one agency.
So innovation is a very important tool to make green economy.
Absolutely.
Being an environmental friendly country.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the keys in our, like when we have the goals for the innovation. Yes, it's important to enhance competitiveness. It's important for increasing the well-being of people living in Finland, and it's important for the environmental protection. And this, I think, is like sort of a thread through the policies.
Finland was ranked one of the safest country in the world. I guess that's go to your security policy and how open-minded Finnish are. And can you tell us how the government able to project the sense of security to their people?
I think the one thing is that we traditionally have a strong trust for the authorities. And there's a lot of sort of interaction between authorities and, for instance, civil society organizations. And so, you know, I think it's very important for the authorities to reach out to citizens, to people, so that the local policies are formed together and so that the trust is maintained and the trust is increased all the time. I think that's one quite important issue, and to sort of to have that people have networks, and that is also, I think, a very fundamental component of the feeling of security. So that's something also we try to support and enhance, is organizations that involve different people in many different ways, to kind of create the sense of togetherness.
So it sounds like communication is a very important tool.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when we talk about Finland, of course, one of the subjects that everybody talking about is education. Education in Finland ranked top in the world, and they said best in the world actually. And also the child happiness index, Finland also on top. Can you tell us the secret?
Well, I think there are many secrets, and we also recently we ranked highest in the happiness for the whole population, and including the immigrants, which is in Finland. So that was it just came out 2 weeks ago, and extremely happy about that. I think it's fantastic. Well, if we come, first with the education, and I think again here we can look at the sort of the long traditions in Finland, the recognition very early on of the fundamental importance of education for the citizens, but also for the whole society. Like as a small nation, we realized early on that for our society to be competitive to success, we really need to focus on the most precious resource, the humans. And and there we have had for a very strong principle of equality of opportunities, so that the children born, no matter in which part of Finland or no matter of their background when it comes to wealth or any factor, they have the right to sort of a equal level of education. So I think that that's one of the key issues. And then there's we have lots of like of these sort of policies or principles in the education that I think are quite interesting. And one is to encourage children to be creative thinkers, to be creative problem solvers. And I think that there's an increasing emphasis on that they're encouraged to question what they learn, and they're encouraged to take part in the discussions and to discover themselves, and also I think one of the what is more and more important is to the ability to analyze the vast amount of information that all of us have available. So that's one particular skill. But then there are also things that are quite different from many other systems, but what we have found to be quite important for the success and one is that the school days are not too long, and that so that there is time to process all the information and really to understand it, and to really to understand and absorb it rather than just to memorize it. And another what is very important is that the children get all the support that they need at school. So if one child needs extra support in mathematics, the child is provided that kind of support at school, so that they don't need to then go to extra tutoring after school. And well, one, I think what is always recognized as one of the key keys to the high quality of Finnish education is the teacher education, so that our teachers are very highly educated. It's a very popular profession. Lots of people want to come into the university to become teachers, and it's a very thorough. Everybody has to have master's degree, and from the very early stages of the education, they also have practical exercises. They go to schools and support the teachers in different ways.
It sounds like this goes directly to the policy, right? And can I ask, when did you guys start the reform, and how long it takes for the whole thing to completely change? And where do you start?
Well, I think that we undertake reforms all the time because the world changes. So it's very important to adapt our education system to that. And also when we notice that they are okay if there are setbacks, like then it's easy to take corrective measures. And well, about in the 70s, there was a big reform, introducing the comprehensive education system, which was a very important one. And then the latest one, which is not at all as big or radical, about a year and a half ago, we made some changes. For instance, introducing the periods of so-called phenomenon-based education, which is important for the problem solving.
Phenomenon-based education.
Yes, and this is like still, I mean, the majority of the most part of the time, students study subject by subject, but then there might be like a 2-week period or so when students are given a certain theme. It could be climate change in the Arctic, or it could be about World War II, or anything, and the students get to also choose the subject, and then they themselves have to sort of find out about it, and they work together. They go out of the classroom a lot and to find out about everything, and the key, I think one of the ideas there is that that through this method they are taught to apply many skills at the same time, be it mathematics and history, languages, geography, and so forth. So this is we have been doing it, piloting it many schools before, in a number of schools before, but then after there was enough research that it works, then it was introduced.
And these are all free for Finnish people.
Yes.
That's great.
It is. Yeah, that's one of the cornerstones as well. That education is free, and free school meals. That's also one of the Finnish social innovations that was taken a long time ago.
How early the student have to start the school?
Well, it depends. Around 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do the preschool, kindergarten before 8 or 9?
The 1 year before starting school, it's a preschool, and which is very much kind of a through play, but also in the early classes, we do a lot of the learning is done through play, because there's also a lot of research showing how effective that is, to learn through play, and that motivates children, that makes the learning fun, and that has proven to be an important factor as well.
Well, thank you very much for your time today.
No, thank you so much.
It made me want to move to Finland.
Please.
I have a 2-year-old, and we are actually